Hi, I'm Drew D'Amelia, and today's movie is Moana. Moana is a Disney movie, and it's a musical. It's like Frozen, which came out earlier. But this isn't Frozen, it's Moana. It's music from Disney. Yeah! So when Moana ended and the end credits started up, the only thing I was thinking was how this movie could have been better. I'm sorry, it's just how I was thinking. I was thinking I didn't like the pop culture references that were made. I didn't like that it was self-referential about the fact that it was a musical. I didn't like that I felt it could have had more musical numbers. I didn't like that I felt the composition of the musical numbers was starting to feel a bit too much like today's pop music. I didn't like that the action sequences seemed to be a bit too short to me. I didn't like that there seemed to be too few characters. I didn't like that I felt it could have been a bit more magical given the very magical setting of the movie. Here's the thing, though. The more I thought about these things, the less they really bothered me. The pop culture references, I felt that they didn't really take you out of the movie that much. They were distracting, but at the same time, they fit within the context of the movie, and there were really only 2 instances of them, and one was after the end credits, so in that way it was removed from the movie itself, and neither of them were that offensive to me. The references to the fact it was a musical weren't that obvious. They kind of fit contextually while they were a little bit off. It wasn't really a huge problem. It made sense. Well, part of me did wish there were more musical numbers. It wasn't terrible that there weren't that many musical numbers in Moana. I mean, The Lion King only had, 5 actual musical numbers that were in it? So it's fine. It's not like a musical needs to have a ton of musical numbers in it. And yeah, maybe it didn't follow the musical composition that Beauty and the Beast was inspired by, but that's okay. That doesn't mean that the musical composition was bad in this movie. In fact, I thought it was really effective. Yeah, it did kind of get a little bit too repetitive, but honestly, I feel like maybe that was mandated, and I was very impressed. If the goal was to make music that sounded like pop songs, I thought they did a really good job giving it that sound, but straying as far away from that as possible and going back to more traditional musical theater roots or Polynesian musical roots. I felt that in terms of the action sequences, there was a lot happening. It really wasn't that terrible. In fact, I feel like if I watch it again, I'll realize that there was a lot happening that just went by so quickly that I just kind of missed it and wasn't able to appreciate it enough. In terms of characters, I feel maybe there could have been a few more characters in the same way. Maybe the action sequences could have been a little bit longer, but maybe the characters that there were more satisfying than I gave credit for, and I think they were. In terms of there being more magic, maybe there could have been a magical character, but at the same time, there kind of were magical characters. There was an animate tattoo, which I wasn't expecting, and the ocean itself was kind of a character. Then they had these magical beings, and maybe they weren't sidekicks, but they were monstrous villains, and they were magical, and I think the reason that I felt this way after the movie ended was not because I did not like Moana. You see, sometimes when the end credits roll and I start to feel, how could this movie be better? It's not because it was a bad movie, but because it was such an excellent movie that I want it to somehow be even better. And you know what? With Moana, I'm really not sure that it could have been that much better. The things I pointed out, really the only complaints I could possibly have with it, and I don't even think they hold that much water. This was just a phenomenal movie all the way through. I know that's what all the critics are saying, but I agree. I agree with the critics. It's really a great Disney movie. I loved the characters. I didn't even really realize Dwayne Johnson was voicing Maui about 10 minutes into that character being introduced into the movie. I wasn't thinking about it at all. I was totally immersed with this character. It wasn't a problem for me. I really liked the music. I already explained how I thought about it compositionally. At first, I thought You're Welcome was going to be the only song I really liked, but I did state at the time that I thought that maybe I just need to hear these songs in the movie itself. And then I did, and honestly, I think they're all really catchy. They're good songs. The setting was awesome. It felt fresh. The magic in it felt fresh. The ideas felt fresh. The animation was, of course, spectacular. Do I wish it was traditionally animated? Kind of, but I almost don't, because there are certain things that you can pull off with computer animation, like the water effects that I really would have missed if it was just traditional animation. And you kind of had some traditional animation in there with the tattoo, so that was cool. There was homage to it. It was just a really great, powerful, inspiring movie that I was very happy to see. And in terms of a central character, I felt that it was so important to have a female Polynesian character that both women and Polynesian people can look up to. And just for those groups of people to have a movie like this that is so triumphant is really meaningful to me and important to me. I know I'm neither of those things, at least the last time I checked. I'm not a Polynesian woman, but I don't know. I just really feel that they should have had a movie like that. Maybe there are other movies out there that I'm not aware of, but in terms of mainstream stuff, it just it really makes me happy that it's around. And I'm just happy movies like this exist. I mean, Disney movies were not great when I was growing up, and now they're back. I can look forward to a Disney movie now. That's great. They're on fire lately. It's awesome. I do have some things to say, though. It's not necessarily critical of Moana, it's more critical of what critics are saying. I'm seeing a lot of people thinking, wow, this is such a subversion of the usual stereotypical Disney formula of a princess that just walks around all day only wanting a man. Guys, okay, so in the Disney animation canon that they have, including Moana, there's 56 movies. Do you know how many of those movies had nothing to do with princesses? Like, at least 80%, and that's if I'm being generous. And do you know how many of those movies that featured princesses were subversive in their own right? I want to say all of them, but if I'm being generous, there were only 3 that even match that description of the stereotypical Disney movie about a princess that just wants a man. Why do people think Disney made so many movies like that? Disney's been pushing the envelope for a long fucking time, and I don't think it's fair to make assumptions about Disney like that. Because Disney's not like that. Just look at their fucking movies. Did goddamn Chicken Little have a princess that just wanted to get fucked? I didn't think so! Shut the fuck up about this shit, okay? Yes, Moana is subversive, but a lot of Disney movies are also subversive, okay? Sorry. Moana's still awesome. Moana's great. I think you should see it. It's not like anything I've seen for a while, and even if it was, you should still see it. It's one of those movies that just make you think how hard so many people worked on this movie. It's phenomenal. I loved it. Go see it or not. Fuck you. I don't care. That's all for me. Now get the fuck out of my house.